Hello, 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 and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle live stream happening every Thursday at 3 o'clock. This is different than the Good Vibes TV show, which is also found on YouTube. This is a weekly live stream, so it's a little bit different. It's all about the Good Vibes Lifestyle, a catchphrase I've come up with, and it's all about the Good Vibes Lifestyle movement. I want to create a movement where people are aware of their energy, that are choosing to live in the higher vibrations of love, peace, joy, happiness, instead of the lower vibrating energies of fear and anger and guilt and shame and all the lower vibrations. And the reason we want to do this is because when we're living from the higher vibrations, we are attracting higher vibration things to our life. And this is how we create in our world. And this is just the way of energy. And we are into the age of Aquarius. We're coming more and more into the age of Aquarius. So it's a new way of operating. And this is what this show is all about. And I am so thankful that you're here watching. And because I'm using StreamYard, I am posting this on, it's happening live on Facebook, several Facebook pages, LinkedIn, YouTube, even Instagram. So you can watch from any of those platforms, whatever platform you want. And actually you can comment. And if you comment, I can actually see your comments and put them on the screen. So this is meant to be an interactive show where, you can ask questions, you can comment on the things I'm sharing. And, I hope you will engage, because it's always fun to interact with you guys, because I'm doing this for you. I often ask the question, why am I doing this? What's my purpose? And honestly, I feel like this is my purpose, to share information about metaphysical things, spiritual things. I had a metaphysical bookstore for 16 years in Florida, then a New Age cafe for 9 years. So I've been in this metaphysical world really since 1993. And I just I love all of this. Maybe it's because I'm a Scorpio. Scorpios tend to be very deep and spiritual. So I think, plus I have a Pisces moon, which is also a spiritual sign. So anyway, I'm very, this is my realm. This is my world. And, it's funny because I talked to my, husband, who's really not in this world. He gets this through osmosis, but he really doesn't. He's not as into it as I am. He's more into cars and Bigfoot and things like that. So, it is what it is. We've been married. It'll be coming up on 30 years, I think, the end of this year. Yeah, exactly. 30 years married the end of this year, 31 years together. So it's amazing when you're with someone for that long. And you learn each other's quirks, and I'm not about changing anyone. I'm about accepting everyone where they are and for who they are, and just want to encourage or inspire people to live their best lives, because it's number one, possible. And I think this is the purpose that all of us have, basically, is to live the best life possible. What are we doing with this gift called life on this earth at this exact moment in time? What are we doing? What are we doing with our energy, with our life force? What are we bringing to the world? What are we creating? This is why I do this. I love this information. I love talking to people that are experts in the field. I love applying what I learn. I love learning. I love meditating. I love doing yoga now. I've been consistent with that for like this last month. So these are all techniques and habits that are different from the mainstream. And yeah, my husband says, oh, you're not mainstream. Nobody watches you, blah, blah, blah. But you do watch me. And my YouTube channel is growing. And, I've got over 12,000 followers on all my different social platforms. A lot of that is carry over from when I had my metaphysical store in cafe. And, so I'm just kind of rolling with the ball and doing what I feel led to do. So this is why I'm here, and I hope it's helpful to you. And if it is, please let me know. I see I've got people watching, and I see a thumbs up, and so I'm very appreciative of that. One thing that I am doing this year that's brand new, the show is going to host on October 30th. I don't know if you know it or not. It is called National Good Vibes Day, and in celebration of National Good Vibes Day on October 30th, I am hosting, Good Vibes TV is hosting an all-day summit, and that'll be on October 30th, which I believe is a Wednesday. And so the way you can register for that, and do it now so you get the reminders. I know it's several months away. It's just a tinyurl.com/2024 Good Vibes Day. So check it out. I'm going to have all kinds of speakers. We're going to do a group meditation to raise the vibration of the planet and, live in the good vibe zone. And so this is coming up on October 30th. So please mark your calendars. And so, if you've watched the show before, I love to talk about the astrology because there's we're part of the cosmos. We're part of a cosmic family. And, I do talk about ETs and UFOs and even Bigfoots. We went to the Bigfoot Festival early in May in Townsend, Tennessee. And, I've interviewed Ron Moorhead, who's written several books. One of the latest is on quantum Bigfoot, and Bigfoot Unveiled is his latest book. But we live in a spiritual world, and I love talking about this stuff. And you don't have to be in church, or go to church or, a structured religious place to be spiritual. To me, spirituality is beyond religion. We're all spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, so if we look at our life in this, kind of with these glasses, with this viewpoint, it gives a whole nother realm of meaning to our lives, right? It puts it in a totally different lens when we're looking at our life as a temporary, that we're spiritual beings, meaning eternal, and having this human experience now, and what are we doing with this life that we have now, whether it's raising a family or creating products that improve the world and help people, whatever our purpose is, it's important that we find that purpose, that dharma, because then we are living our bliss, we're living our dharma, we're living from our heart, we're following our heart. And when we do this, everything else falls into place. So let's talk about the astrology. And the astrology right now, we're in the waxing moon phase with a full moon in Capricorn coming up this Sunday on July 21st. It's at 6:17 a.m. So full moons. We had the new moon on July 5th, the day after the 4th of July. And new moons are always about new beginnings. And then as you plant the seeds of your intentions, or even your plants, if you want, as you plant those seeds, they grow and they grow. And it culminates, the culmination happens at the full moon. So the full moon is a time of extreme energy, and it's a great time to do different things depending on where you're at and what you're wanting to do. It's a great time to celebrate culminations and accomplishments and things like that, but it's also a great time to decide what you want to let go of, anything that doesn't serve you anymore, and write it down, burn it, release it to the universe. And because right after the full moon is the waning cycle, where the moon is getting smaller and smaller, thus things are diminishing in the energy of letting go, integration, and that kind of thing. So we're in this build-up period. Now, every full moon has a couple different names to it. Native Americans and other people of nature have given the different moons, full moons, a name. And the July full moon is called the full buck moon, because this is the time, this month is when the deer, the bucks, the male deer, are growing their antlers, and they're coming to full completion, their antlers. It's also known as the thunder moon, because this is a time of the year when there's a lot of thunderstorms happening, the summer thunderstorms. So those are, I think, interesting points to realize, because it's being in tune with the cycles of nature. And that's why I love, astrology. And the moon is one of the closest orbs, impacting us besides our sun. So it's good to know where we are in the cycle, so you can kind of get in sync with that natural cycle, because we're all, children of Mother Earth. We're all beings from this beautiful Mother Earth. So if we're in sync with Mother Earth and her cycles, we live a better lifestyle. We're living a good vibes lifestyle. We're living in sync and in the flow of nature. So Capricorn. Now, last month, the full moon was also in the sign of Capricorn. This month, it's in the sign of Capricorn, and that's pretty rare. It doesn't happen like that all the time. Every 2.5 days, the moon is in a different astrological sign. So it's always changing, and the flavor of that energy of the moon changes. It matches what that sign is. So it's good to know the 12 astrological signs. And so Capricorn has to do with structure and authority, the patriarchy, old structures and things like that. And it's actually in the 29th degree of Capricorn. So that means at the end of a cycle. So this is a time of endings of old structures and the old patriarchy, just old structures, old ways of doing things. We're coming to the end of that. So this energy that we have right now through this full moon, and the full moon you can feel 3 days before, 3 days after, 2 to 3 days. Let's say 2 days before, 2 days after. It depends on how sensitive you are. But it's a great time to, look at your intentions, celebrate what's blossomed for you, and then, harvest or prune the things in your life that no longer serves you, so you can let it go after the full moon. So these are some things to do. And Capricorn has to do with the old structures. And one astrologer was talking about the dark father, that they were tying this full moon to being the end of a cycle that actually started in 2008, when we had the banking crisis and all this stuff. And this one astrologer was talking about all the different, Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter movement, all these kind of revolutions and changing of, not accepting the old way of doing things, right? Because we're moving into a new era, this new era of Aquarius, which is totally different than the age of Pisces we're coming from. And the ages are like 2100 years, right? So we're entering this next phase of 2100 years of the age of Aquarius, which is about humanitarianism. It has to do with electricity, and it's ruled by the sign Uranus, the planet Uranus, which has to do with electric and fast and unexpected things. Not always bad things, but just unexpected things. So there's just a lot going on with the energy. We're also in the season of Cancer, meaning the sun is in the sign of Cancer for most, through maybe another week or so. Then it goes into Leo, of course. But the sign of Cancer is a water sign, has to do with nurturing, has to do with our home, our family, what's security for us. Also, I find that water signs tend to be can be a little weepy, a little emotional, which I'm finding for myself. Or you're tuning into your emotions to see, what's going on, within yourself, and working on your emotional body. So those are all things, and the kind of the energies that are happening this month and right now. So the other thing that's coming up on August 4th, which will be a new moon as well, Mercury retrograde. Yay! So most of you may know, if you've been watching the show, that Mercury retrograde happens 3 to 4 times a year, and it's where we've got about 3 weeks when the sign of Mercury looks like it's going backwards. And Mercury rules communications, short distance travel, computers, contracts, things like that. So it's always the good astrological advice, that when there's a Mercury retrograde, it's not a time to start new things. It's a time to do anything with re in it. regroup, refinance, repair, revisit, renew. This is how you want to use the energy of Mercury retrograde. Now, it becomes retrograde on the 4th of August, but there's a shadow period that happens before and after the retrograde. So it's kind of like when you start sensing or feeling the issues. And I can give you an example of that. When I scheduled this live stream, I made a mistake and I had the wrong date. I had the 16th, not the 18th, and I couldn't actually change it. So I had to reconfigure the whole thing. And, so I'm like, oh, Mercury retrograde shadow, it's coming up. And it doesn't mean that things are going to mess up, but it is a time where the weak links do show up. So it's time to kind of repair, and any back burner projects you might have, bring them to the front, finish them up. Also with this full moon in Capricorn, good time to kind of get organized. Has to do with your, structures and organization, and you're organizing your life, this kind of thing. So with having that kind of ending with the Capricorn in the 29th degree, it's just, this is like the energy that we're in. So it's nice to know when the Mercury retrograde happens, because then when something screwy happens, you're not, oh, it's just the energy. And then you can kind of gives you a heads up, so that you're not just reacting like, oh my God, and just like losing your mind over something that's minor. Because we're masters of our ship, right? How we react to things is where our point of power is. We have that choice. We don't have to live a reactive life. We can live a responsive life where we're choosing to respond. And a lot of times all that takes is just taking a breath. Before you automatically get upset about something or emotional about something, take a breath, just at least one deep breath in and out, and kind of regroup and, try to come from a place of logic as opposed to just emotion. So that's what's happening with the Mercury retrograde, and pretty much what I have as far as the astrological things that are happening. But I do want to talk briefly about some UFO, UAP disclosure information, and our favorite person to get this information from, or who I like to follow, is Dr. Stephen Greer. And this is his website right here. And he's actually having a special conference on July 26th, which will be next weekend, right? Called the CE5 Contact and Consciousness Conference. It's going to be held in Temecula, California on July 26th to 28th. And although all the seats, live in person are gone, you can actually watch this online all 3 days, and including the 2 evenings where he's going to do a meditation and do a CE5 contact to try to connect with some ETs. And so you can actually, for $99, watch the whole weekend, get the recordings, I think for at least a month. And then watch live, the ET contact. So I don't know. I haven't for sure decided if I'm going to attend online, but I wanted to let you know if that's something that you're interested in and you wanted to know about, because, it really is, we're not, Aquarius has to do with things in the air, and really ETs, our cosmic family. So the more and more disclosures happening, for spiritual people have been in the metaphysical world, ETs and angels have always been part of the conversation. We're aware of them. And depending on how much you get into it, will determine how much you know about it. But it's going to become more and more and more, I think, mainstream. So, I see this show and Good Vibes TV as being on the cutting edge of, what's happening energetically and metaphysically in our lives, in our evolution. So that's what I've got for you as far as the UFO and UAP disclosure. And also in October is when the government's supposed to provide all this archived information. But if you go to Dr. Stephen Greer's website, he actually consolidated like terabytes of data that's free on his website. So check that out. I've talked about it before, but really good information to know. All right, so let's talk about the Oracle of the month. Every month I love to showcase a different oracle, and oracles are great tools for communicating with the divine. They're divination tools, communicating with the divine. And this month's oracle is The Guides of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed, one of our favorite psychics and teachers. And so let's ask for a message. And she has in her book, each of the oracle cards come with a little booklet. And she has a nice simple prayer to use before you do an oracle deck. So I'm going to read that. It says, "Thank you, Spirit, for all you have given me and for the guidance I'm about to receive for my life, for all of our lives. Let your light shine into my life. Show me your truth and nothing but. Blessed be, and so it is." So let's shuffle the cards and ask Spirit, what do you want us to know right now for our highest and best good? And the card is, every word has power. And let me put this, share the screen so you can actually see the card. There it is. Okay, this is even better. You can see it better this way. So every word has power, and this is number 27 in her deck. And so the key words are education, power of persuasion, communication, and internal dialogue. So let's see what the message is with this card. Okay. Key concepts. The influence of words, education, power of persuasion, how we communicate information, affirming self-talk, being mindful of internal dialogue. Words provide a meaningful container for our thoughts, intentions, and overall energy. Every word we say, whether aloud or silently, resonates with an influential frequency, sending out a signal that connects with its counterpart in the material world. How we communicate is reflected by the infinite intelligence within the surrounding field of energy and the people who are influenced or impacted by what we say. Right now, you have a lot of power, and your words will either support someone or catapult them into chaos. Be mindful in how you approach others and be as neutral as possible. You are not responsible for other people's triggers, but use discernment and compassion as you communicate. Even when setting boundaries, kind and respectful words have the most power. Diplomacy and tact go a long way when so many are feeling vulnerable. Be clear about what you say and ask for clarity from others. In every word, there is either a sword or a magic wand. Choose the wand. I love that. Because it's true, and here we are, using words. And it is a responsibility, what words we use. But it's also our power and our tool, the words that we use. You can use several words for a certain thing, but they all have nuances and connotations that, are connected to it. So our words are so powerful, and it is a point of power of what we say. And this is how, again, we create card. Although we didn't pull it reversed, I do want to read it because I always get some information from it. So it says, does your self-talk often veer toward the negative? Do you stress before there is any evidence to support your fears? Now is the time to clean your internal dialogue and replace sabotaging thoughts with positive ones. This message is not encouraging spiritual bypassing or turning a blind eye to current challenges. Know that whatever stories you tell yourself or others act as magnets for more of the same. Try saying, even though this is a difficult issue, I'm going to do my part to discover a solution. Or if you're in a dispute with someone, you might say, even though we don't agree and difficult conversations are happening, we We are both sparks of the divine and need to be heard. That's good um, um, advice for our political situation that we're in. We all need to be heard. We're in a democracy, and our words and communication is so important. Remember, the universe hears the words in your head and is poised to give you their reflection in the outer world. Self-talk. Bless your life with the words that will quicken your positive manifestations. Today, invite your higher power into your communications. Something amazing is bound to happen when you do. So that is the card. Every word has power. And I really like that because, we were talking about Mercury retrograde. So now with the shadow happening and Mercury retrograde happening most of August, very important to be aware of your words, the words you speak to other people, but also the words your self-talk, because what we say to ourselves, is kind of how we program ourselves. So that is so important. And please comment if you do you agree with this? What do you think? I feel like this card actually really was relevant for our conversation today. All right, and if you like this oracle deck, you can find it at my Amazon store, and the way you get to that is just going to good-vibes.tv. So let's talk about our next section. And I wanted to share with you about this masterclass that's happening. I am affiliate partners with Grow Your Own Vegetables. And this is Stacy Murphy. She has a special free masterclass about 3 strategies to preserve and store your harvest. And the way you can get to this, I'm going to put the tiny URL on the screen here. It's tinyurl.com/capital GVTV Preserve Harvest. And in this masterclass, Stacy's going to talk about 3 strategies to simplify preserving and storing the harvest. So if you've been growing a garden and you get a lot of tomatoes or a lot of cucumbers or a lot of different produce, and you're not able to eat it all at once, you can actually preserve and store these gifts from the garden so you can consume them all year long. So she's going to talk about enjoying the fresh organic vegetables and herbs all year long. She talks about 6 simple ways to stock your pantry full of fresh goodies. She has a counterintuitive strategy for saving 40% on your grocery bill every year. She also is going to talk about how to think like a flavor ninja and create delicious meals from basic garden ingredients. And she also she's going to talk about 1 trick to preserve the essentials in just a couple of hours. So I also want to share with you. So if you go to that tiny URL, you'll go to her website, and let me put this on the screen so you can see it. You just put your name and email there, and she actually has a free guide that you can download, as soon as you sign up, you have access to the training. It's a special master class, and it's all about preserving and storing the harvest. And my tomatoes are growing. We're just starting to eat them. I've harvested a cucumber already, so the garden is growing, and I'm very excited about that because I love gardening and have the opportunity, the time, and the space to actually do it. So again, there is the website if you want to, check that out and get her free masterclass. And, she'll tell you if you want to go further with her. She has other courses and stuff for sale as well. So there you have it. All right, so it's time to talk about the tip of the week to raise your vibration. So last week's tip was to practice the 7-11 breath. And that was because it was 7-11, July 11th, when we had the show. And I found this breath, which is basically just breathing in for 7 beats and breathing out for 11 beats or counts. So did you practice it? What did you think? I was able to do that as a meditation on 7-11 and found it very would say enlightening, but I didn't really, it's just very calming, very soothing. And so it's a great, another type of breath technique to practice. The big thing is when you have a short in breath and a longer out breath, that helps your body naturally relax and, and get out of the sympathetic stress, response, which is what so many people suffer from. So that's the tip from last week. And this week's tip, this is a fun one. This is called the What I Love About You game, or it could be What I Like About You game. And so this is something you can do actually when you're traveling, because of course now summertime, a lot of people are traveling, and this is something I did while I was traveling. But I'll tell you how to do it in a group setting. So in a group setting, you would give each person a stack of paper and a pencil or pen, and everyone would call out the name of a person in the group, and everyone writes that person's name on the top of that sheet of paper. And then you ask everyone to write down their name and then write down something that you love or like about that particular person. You fold it in half, you throw all the papers into a hat, so depending on how many you have in the group, throw it in the hat. And then you do that for every single person that's in the group. And then once you've done that, you pass the hat around and take turns pulling out a paper and reading, what a person, what people like or love about that particular person. So it's a really great technique. Now, the version I've used is called what I called, what I like about you, what I love about you. And I played that with my husband on a long, road trip. And basically, each person, instead of writing anything down, you're just doing it verbally. So you're saying, asking the other person, what do you like or love about me? And then they have to come up with something, and and kind of the game is how long can you go before you can't think of anything else that you like or love about that person. But it can really go long because you start getting into nuanced things about the person. And then, it's gratitude, right? You're expressing gratitude and love to the other person and focusing on what you love about them or what you like about them, instead of what a lot of times we do is focus on what we're annoyed by, what we're angry about, what the other person didn't do right. So it's a total game changer to, instead of complain about the other person, play this game with them. What do I love? What I love about you. What I think of the song, what I like about you. I think it's the Cars. But so do the travel version. If you're doing a long road trip and you've got kids in the car and the family in the car, or just you and your husband or your partner, and play this game. What I like about you, and see how it goes, and see how it, helps the trip be more positive and good things come out of it. So that is the game. Play the game, What I Love About You. All right. So that's the tip of the week. And I don't see any comments, so I can't bring any on the screen, but I know a lot of times people watch after the fact on the replay. So you can always comment whatever platform you're watching on. And I just want to thank you for watching today. Thank you for listening. I hope that you got some value from this episode. And if you did, please like, share, subscribe, because that helps me build the channel, get the word out, and really help us all to live, the good vibes lifestyle, which is a lifestyle of love, peace, joy, happiness. And it's so important, with the world and the way things are going, the way light workers, the way we can help is by holding the peace. When things are chaotic out there, the energy, we can hold the energy by being in the state of love and peace and gratitude. Be in the eye of the hurricane, not in the hurricane. And by doing this, we help the collective. And this is what it's all about. So I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. I really appreciate you watching, and I want to thank you. And, reach out to me if you have anybody that you'd like me to interview for the show, or you have any, events happening that are coming up that you want me to let people know about. Share them with me. Reach out to me, DM me, email me, however you like. Go to good-vibes.tv. That gives you all the different options or things offerings that I have and ways to reach out to me. So thanks again. Have a beautiful week. Happy full moon, and I will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Peace out.